So this is Aeneid from line 50 to line 57. And just some context of this section is that Juno is going over to Aeolus, who is the god of the wind, to persuade him to set forth the storm in order to prevent Aeneas and the Trojans to reach Italy. But here Vergil is still setting the scene in this section. Talia flammato secum dea corde volutans, nimborum in patriam, loca feta furentibus austris aeoliam venit. So Dea, the goddess, it is referring to Juno. The goddess volutans, it is a PAP and it's modifying Dea. The goddess going over Talia, such things. The goddess going over such things. Flammato is a PPP and it is modifying Corday, going over such things in her inflamed heart with herself. Venit is the main verb of the sentence. Comes into the country. So remember, in plus an accusative means into something. Comes into the country of storms. Loca feta furentibus austris. Places feta means pregnant, but here it means filled with. Places filled with raging south winds. Aeolium. So Aeolium is the name of the island. And um, so the goddess going over such things in her inflamed mind with herself comes into the country of storms, the places filled with raging south winds, Aeolia. Hic vasto rex Aeolus antro, luctantis ventos tempestatis qui sonoras, imperio primit ac vinclis et carcere frenat. Hic is an adverb, means here, and rex Aeolus is the main subject of the sentence. So here the king Aeolus in the vast cave. Notice that Vergil separated vasto and antro, and he's trying to illustrate that and put the also he put the Rex Aeolus in the middle. So he's trying to illustrate that the king Aeolus is in the middle of the vast cave. Primit is the main verb of the sentence. So the king Aeolus controls. Luctantes, another PAP, modifies ventos, controls the um, struggling winds and the roaring storms. So here it is an alliteration with the sound of S, and Virgil was intending to use the sound of S to imitate the sound of winds with his power, and that is an ablative of means, and restrains them in vinclis. Vinclis is a syncopated form of vinculis, in chains and prison. So here the king Aeolus in the vast cave controls the struggling winds and the roaring storms with his power, and restrains them in chains and prison. Illi indignantis magno cum murmuri montis circum claustra fremunt. Illi is the main subject, and indignantis, another PAP, modifies illi. So they being angry, and they are referring to the winds and the storms. Being angry. Fremunt means how. They being angry, how with magno modifies murmuri. How with great murmur of the mountain. And here is another alliteration. So Virgil is again trying to use the sound of M to imitate the sound of murmur and rumbling around the enclosure. So they being angry, how with great murmur of the mountain around the enclosures. Causa sedet Aeolus arche sceptra tenens, mollit que animos et temperat eras. Aeolus is again the main the main subject of this sentence, and tenens another PAP. So Aeolus holding this is a poetic plural, holding the scepter, sits in his lofty citadel. Molitke means and soothes, their minds and tempers the anger. So eras is another poetic plural. So Aeolus, holding the scepter, sits in the lofty citadel and soothes the minds and tempers the anger. So Aeolus is the god of the wind that controls and restrains the storms and winds and also tempers them. Okay, and so that's it, and that's the line 50 to line 57 of Aeneid. And thank you very much.